Jasper, come here, buddy. Come and say hi. Come on. Come and say hi. There you go. All right. Okay. So, I don't know if you can see or not, but we're out for a walk, and the raspberries are out. Isn't that awesome? Yum, yum. See? Raspberries. Yum. Yummy, 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 yummy. Wild raspberries everywhere on this path. So awesome. More. All right. Anyway, raspberries are out, so are the mosquitoes. Of course. Oh, after 2 weeks or so of plus 30-degree temperatures, last night we had thunderstorms roll in and tons of rain, which was really awesome. Soaked everything down. I'm sure the farmers are very happy with that. And I don't know if you can see the sky up there, but we're supposed to get more thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. And we're out walking in anticipation of that. Hopefully we'll get our walk in before we get wet. So anyway, it's another glorious day here on planet Earth, and we are out enjoying our walk in the woods again. And I hadn't actually chosen the topic to talk about on this walk. I just felt like I wanted to make another video to put up there for you. For those of you who care about that and watch them, pay attention. My last video was all about being muzzled and all of that. Today I think I'll talk about something that is more philosophical and less topical. How's that? All right. So, what do you think? What do you think about thinking? Where do your thoughts come from? Okay? You think, I know you think all day long. I know you think all day long, that your mind is constantly running like a little hamster in its wheel, just going vroom, 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 vroom all the time, right? So, where do your thoughts come from? Good question, eh? Have you ever asked yourself where your thoughts come from? I think there's three places that, generally speaking, thoughts come from. One is from that great subconscious, and say unconscious rather than subconscious, unconscious reservoir of information that we have stored. You know, we started picking up information about our world from the moment we were born or before. And that accumulated base of knowledge, of information, generates not just the repetitive ad jingles that you have running in your head or the old song lyrics or whatever, but a constant conversation with yourself about you describing reality to yourself, right? I mean, we're walking along in the path and I'm telling myself, whether I'm paying attention to my thoughts or not, I'm telling myself that I'm out here walking in the woods with Jasper, and I'm, surrounded by trees. You've seen this path before. I've been on here before with Jasper. Surrounded by trees and plants, and it's, my thought process is, this is incredibly beautiful. This is incredibly amazing. All of it, right? So that's where some of the thoughts come from, is that big reservoir of information, and they just kind of bubble up occasionally, and well, they're there all the time, but they bubble up and we notice them occasionally, and we say, okay, I'm thinking this about this, whatever the circumstance. Something dramatic happens out there in the world and we have a response to that. We have a set of thoughts that occur because of that, and it bubbles up out of that unconscious reservoir of information that we have stored inside. Okay, So probably most of our thoughts come from that, and as a consequence, they're unconscious thoughts, right? They're not purposeful, they just happen, right? Okay. And then the second place that we get our thoughts from is when we actually sat down and decide that we're going to think about something purposefully, intentionally, okay? We're going to, pretend we're a scientist and we're going to look at something and say, I wonder why that's happening. How is that thing constructed? What makes it work? How's the universe working? How's the world working, right? I look at this tree that I'm coming up on and say, what kind of tree is it? Think about that and imagine, okay, the bark looks like this, the leaves look like that, whatever. And as a consequence, I can determine what kind of tree it is. Maybe if I'm smart enough, I can figure out how old it is. All of it. This little baby right here, of course, is a maple, right? Okay. Lots of maples in southern Ontario. So I think purposely, I start to look at something and try and ask how it is, what it is, why it is the way it is, and all of this kind of stuff. So it's purposeful thinking, right? Analytical thinking. And we can apply that to anything, not just trees, obviously, but anything that's going on around us. We can look at it and say, I wonder why this is happening, right? What exactly is happening, truthfully? I mean, do I believe what I'm being told about what's happening, or am I going to look at it objectively with some sort of level of critical thinking and come to my own conclusions about it? So there's that level of purposeful thinking, right? Okay. Hi, guys. Out for a bike ride? All right. Enjoy. Okay. So, and then there's the third kind, which is rare. And the reason it's rare is because people don't open themselves up to it. They cut themselves off from it for many reasons. One, they don't believe in it to start with. And second of all, they're so being busy with the unconscious thought processes that they don't actually give themselves space to have this. But you've had these thoughts as well. Call them moments of inspiration, right? And those kind of thoughts are the thoughts that exist in one of two places. The great collective unconsciousness of humanity, so this morphic field of mental activity, human mental activity that surrounds us, that you pick up ideas, vibes, insights from, right? Whether or not you get something from reading a book, you get an idea from reading a book, or you just are walking in the forest like I'm doing right now and something just suddenly occurs to you. So you have this insight, right? Okay. That's that third kind of thought. From the first of two places, the human collective unconsciousness, that great general field of collective thought that we broadcast all the time out from ourselves individually and makes up the collective thought of all of humanity, right? So we get ideas from there, which explains why a couple of people can invent the same invention in different parts of the world without being in communication with each other, because the thought bubbles up and occurs to them simultaneously at the same time, right? And then, of course, there's the kind that a lot of people don't believe in, and that's the inspiration that comes from the source of all, that grand collective consciousness that is responsible for the creation of the universe on an ongoing basis. Like every quantum moment, this universe that I'm walking around in right now is recreated in each moment as all of those subatomic particles flash in and out of existence, come back together to create this great big moving forward evolutionary universe, right? All of that's happening. And that consciousness, that great universal consciousness that is behind that creative urge that brings all this, including you and me, into existence, is also a source for ideas. Those inspirational ideas, those purely come out of nowhere, eureka ideas, right? Those come from that source, okay? So, and there's a reason why it's called inspiration, right? Because inspiration, the word inspire, means, from the original in Greek, the word inspire means to breathe in the divine. Okay? So when you have moments of inspiration, you're actually allowing yourself to be the radio receiver, if you will, to receive the broadcast. Okay? All right. So some thoughts about thinking. There you go. All right. When the point of all of that, of course, is to say to you, you know, I would encourage you to spend more time focusing on the second two kinds of thinking. You can't avoid the unconscious thoughts that just pop up, bubble up from everything you've experienced, been exposed to, in my case, over 70 years of my lifetime on this planet. I can't avoid having those thoughts that just occur to me, you know, based on my experience of life, right? The education that I've gotten. Come on, Jasper, let's go this way, okay? And spend less time on those unconscious thoughts and more time on those purposeful thoughts, where you sit down and you decide you're going to think intentionally about something, anything, you know, pick a subject, who cares? But you're going to think intentionally about it and ask yourself, what's going on? Why is it going on? How does it happen? Is there a purpose behind it, right? And all of that. And you think intentionally, you think on purpose. Okay, if you are in the process of creating pursuing a success plan for your life, have goals and ideals that you want to move progressively towards, then it helps if you spend a good portion of your time thinking harmoniously, or thinking about things that support those ideals, those goals that you have for yourself. Okay, so I encourage you to think about that type of thinking, that intentional, purposeful thinking about things, and then to avail yourself of that inspiration, that pure inspiration. And how do you do that? Okay, there's the key. How do you do that? Well, obviously, in order to allow new information in, we have to slow down, still that unconscious noise level, that 60,000 thoughts per day stream of unconscious noise that's going on in the background. It's kind of like static, right? If you could imagine a radio turned on kind of halfway between the channels, or just, you know, moving between the channels, trying to find a station or something, and it's just constant noise, right? So what you want to do in order to tune into that inspirational stuff is to either slow down, tune down, turn down that noise level, or turn it off, okay? So one of the proven ways, you know, to do that over the millennia, proven by many, many people again and again and again and again, so it's beyond a shadow of a doubt, is to meditate, of course, right? Okay, so practicing meditation doesn't have to be some arcane or weird thing that you have to get involved in. It can be as easy as learning to sit in stillness, focus your attention on your in-breaths and your out-breaths, and just focus your attention on your breath. That's it, right? And that'll be a form of meditation. And practicing that on a daily basis will teach you to get stiller and stiller and open yourself up to moments of inspiration. Okay, walking in the woods like we're doing now, without me talking, we're shooting a video obviously, but being contemplative as I walk through the woods, respecting and, you know, the fact that I am in a sacred space, as I always am, even when I'm not in the woods, but respecting that I am in a sacred space, and thinking about what Jasper told me to do one time when we were out hiking. Just learn to be present in the presence of the divine. Opening yourself up that way can lead to moments of good inspiration as well. Pure, clear, inspirational thought comes in, right, from poof, magic land, right? All right. Okay, so I would suggest, in your own way, that if you want to be able to think intentionally and on purpose, that instead of being in a reactive mode and just allowing your mind to bubble up with all of this, you know, stuff that you've picked up over the years and just regurgitate it all the time for you to just recycle, you know, recycle and recycle and recycle over and over and over again, you know, kind of like wearing a mask where you're just recycling your own bodily air, you know, like that. Ridiculous thought. Anyway, recycling the old thoughts again and reaffirming those same old repetitive thought patterns so that you have this form, this picture of reality that is set in stone and prevents you from being productive in thinking, because you're not thinking intentionally about something, you're just thinking accidentally, right? And preventing you from achieving those moments of pure inspiration. Okay, so that's enough for this conversation. I don't know if I've made any sense at all to you. Maybe not. Anyway, Jasper wants to continue on, and I'm done saying what I wanted to say. Learn to think on purpose, and learn to allow moments of pure inspiration to come to you, because those are the moments when you are blessed by the divine. Thank you. Love you all. Bye for now.